getting ready to go out into the woods today, and I am going to build myself an Arapuca bird trap. And I'm going to go get the wood from the woods and build it out there. So let's get going. Hello, welcome to Bentley's Backwoods Bushcraft. This is Richard, and we are going through the woods today. And we're not just taking a walk. I'm going to do something that I have not done in more months than I can think. I'm actually going to be bushcrafting. I am coming out here in the woods. I am going to pick up some of this downed stickage, like that as an example. Matter of fact, I think I might carry that around with me. There we go. And I am going to be building an Arapuca bird trap. And another thing I want is some of this vine right here that's laying across the road here, this path. I am not going to gather it right at the moment. I am going to set up where I want to go, and once I get there, I am going to start walking the woods. I do have a handsaw and a small hand axe with me today, and I am going to be gathering up this wood. I do have some inexpensive Dollar Tree cordage, and I am going to be sitting out here, and I am going to be making that wooden trap. Look at that. That is freaking awesome. So let's find a good place to set, and I'll get right back with you. Ooh, hold on. Look at that one. How fantastic is that? So I've decided that this downed log right here is going to be where I'm going to sit. As a matter of fact, that would make a nice shelter, a beam for a shelter. So anyway, let's sit here and let's start gathering. All right, so I have some water. I'm going to start gathering sticks. Let's get this broke right there. This one actually might come in handy, but get sticks. I did bring this small bag out here. I have a small hand axe, my handsaw, it has my camera case, has my stuff in it for my camera. I do have my knife with me, of course, but I did bring a pair of scissors, and I have these two rolls of cordage. So what I am going to do is I am just going to go through the woods here, and I will take you along for a short period of time. But I'm just going to gather sticks that are already on the ground. I'm not going to cut anything off of any trees. It doesn't have to be live wood. So I'm going to go ahead and take all these massive amounts of dead branches that are laying on the ground, and I am going to build a animal trap. Now, it's basically just going to be a pyramid. Boom, just like this, and I'll show you how it sets up later, but we're going to use that. And so as you can see, just all of these sticks and stuff laying around. Here's another one that will be decent for what I want. Really all I'm looking for are sticks that are that general size and somewhat straight, and there's plenty of them out there. So I am going to go ahead and head out there. I'm going to gather up what I can, and when I get done, I'll get back with you and we'll start building this thing. Okay, so I'm back. The hard part is not finding the sticks. The hardest part so far was staying away from all the spider webs to get to the sticks. This woods are inundated with spiders, especially those little ones that have the shells on their backs. Cool looking spider, but there's a lot of them out here. And there's plenty of dead wood laying on the ground. That's not the problem. Picking up the dead wood isn't the problem. The problem is trying to avoid running into all the spider webs that are out there. So I am going to begin, and all I'm going to do is cut the wood that I have into links that will create a box, and then as I go up, the box will get smaller and smaller and smaller, and it'll make a point to some degree. Basically, I'm building a pyramid out of sticks, and I'm going to tie them together. So I will show you a bit of that as I go, and let's get going with this project. Alrighty, so here we are. So the small hand axe. Now I'm not going to measure anything by actual size. All I know is I have done this several times before, and I've always made the boxes too small, and it gives the birds a chance to fly away when they set the trap off, because they're not under the trap when it goes when it falls, which is what I need. So I just need to build my trap larger than the space it's going to take for the bird to set the trap off and then try to fly out of it. So what I'm going to do is, I think this is extraordinarily large. I definitely, yes. So we're going to go ahead and cut it off right here. Just like that. This is going to be way too big, which is perfect. So I need 4 of those. And I'm definitely going to get at least 3. I don't know if that one will count. It'll be pretty close. And this is going to be the base. We're just going to build a box. All right. So let's get to, so we peel off some of this. Yeah, maybe I should peel some of this off. I don't know. Definitely not going to be needed. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and do this to the other 3 pieces. Alright, now this is just Dollar Tree twine, but the good thing is there's enough of it that I don't have to worry about using a massive amount. So all I'm going to do is just tie this excessively. And again, what I'm attempting to trap is not going to have any real weight or power behind it, so there's no real concern about this trap getting torn up by a fighting animal when it gets caught. Wrens are very, very small. They're about the size of finches, honestly. So I'll just continue to do this, and I'll do it until I get this box done. Alright, so I have this one done. All I'm going to do is set this on the ground so that I can get it somewhat even. Doesn't really have to be, honestly, but right here, and I'm going to tie this one up. So as I sit here building this trap, real quick here. Move this to the side real quick. And I see ants moving their young. Down the log there. So let's put this camera on and get a little bit of view of that. Maybe it was me banging on this log is what prompted them to do this move. I don't know. Anyway, interesting view. So I'll leave the camera on there for you to look at that while I continue with my work over here. So now I have this base of the frame done. So now all I got to do is cut sticks that are slightly smaller for both sides as I go up to make the pyramid. Well, we're coming along pretty decently with this. It's not too bad. So I was sitting here building this. Hold on, let me sit down here. So I was building this, minding my own business, not saying anything to anybody. And some kid, I don't know, he's probably 9, 10, 11 years old, somewhere around there, saw me, asked me what I was doing, so I told him. I was building a bird trap for my YouTube channel. He said he built himself a crawdad trap. He wanted to know if I wanted to see it. I said, sure, I'll see it. And it freaked out the dad, and the dad stayed away, which I don't really appreciate. Clearly he didn't want that kid around me because he was freaking out, and I don't blame him there. I'm a total stranger. But if it had been me and I saw my kid talking to some dude out in the woods, I wouldn't have stayed at a distance and hollered at him. My ass would have been right up there on him. So regardless, the kid liked my trap and wanted to show me his crawdad trap. And it freaked the dad out, which I don't have any. I completely agree. I think the dad should have been freaked out. He doesn't know me. He doesn't have any idea. All he saw was his kid talking to some strange dude in the woods, right? I would have been on, I wouldn't have stayed at a distance. The guy stayed at a distance, and hollered for his kid. That wouldn't have been me, I'll be honest. My ass would have been right up there. If I would have seen that there was no issues, that's one thing, but I wouldn't have stayed at a distance. That, as a matter of fact, I'm a little upset that the guy didn't come up on my ass, honestly. He didn't have to get violent with me or anything like that. Just, I would have preferred he come to his kid instead of hollering for his kid to come down there. Because if I were a problem, his dad was too far away to do anything about it if there was gonna be an issue, and I didn't like that. But none of my business, not my monkeys, not my zoo. So anyway, let's get back to the Arapuca bird trap. Not doing too bad. It's gonna be wobbly, and it's gonna have, you know, issues with the sticks being wavy. I don't have perfect sticks. This isn't being built with craft items I have at the house with perfect sized dowel rods or anything like that. This is straight from the woods. I want to get it built, and then we'll put it together after I get it completely built. And it doesn't have to be really tall. As a matter of fact, this is probably tall enough for what I need it to be. But it'll probably be maybe a foot. We'll see what we get when we get it done. But let me continue with this, and we'll look at it when I get it finished. And there we go. There's the quick and easy design of it. Old trash wood found on the ground. Nothing I cut off of any trees. Just all dead wood laying on the ground. And I built myself a pretty decent little trap. Now, that wood isn't going to sustain anything vicious that's going to fight its way through, but for a bird, it'll be perfect. Alright, so let's adjust this a tad bit. I am working on the very last side. It's going to take a lot more tying to make this structurally okay, but it will be enough for me to be able to move it around, which is what I'm going to need to do here in a few minutes. So I'm going to get this tied up, and I'll get right back with you. Alright, so we have this part of it. I'm just doing a little bit of tying to get it all set up and adjusted. So once I get this all done, I'll put a few sticks here. This is going to have a net or something over it, because at this point, the size of the birds that I'm dealing with are going to be able to just walk right out of this thing anyway. But let me keep tying, and I'll get back with you. Alrighty, well, I have a very small piece of cordage left, so I'm just going to use it just to be using it. Yeah, let's go through here. So at this point, I am simply going to gather up my gear. I am going to put it in the van. I am going to come back down and grab that. I will take it to the van, and then we will head home. Now, I have a net somewhere that I can use to put over this, because the birds that I'm going to get are really small, and there's no way that they would stay in something like that. But I just need this to use as a framework for the net. So when we get to the house, if I get into the mood to dig through my survival gear, I will find that net and we will continue. This is a project that will probably be down the road, but there's the beginnings. I have the frame of the bird trap. So let's look at that one more time before we take off. And there we go. There is the basic framework of it. It is just basically a pyramidal box that I will be placing a net over, and once we get ready to use it, I'll show you the trigger system we're going to use. It's really simple and it's effective even for really small birds.